Prince Harry's legal case against the Daily Fail. Now, members of the squad, I do have an update for you on Prince Harry's court case against the Daily Fail. And I think that in my previous video, I just talked about the Daily Fail. And I want to repeat this. The Daily Fail is the most despicable tabloid in the world. And I don't even know why it's allowed to operate. Ever. I don't know why it's allowed to operate. Now let me continue and give you an update on Prince Harry's court case against the Daily Fail. Now, Prince Harry's libel claim against the publisher over Home Office case in court over an article about his legal case against the Home Office is due to have its first hearing on Thursday. Now, Prince Harry is suing Associated Newspapers Limited, ANL publisher of the Mail, on Sunday after the paper ran a story following a hearing in the Duke's separate High Court claim over his security arrangements when he is in the UK. The piece was published in February under the headline "Exclusive: How Prince Harry Tried to Keep His Legal Fight with the Government Over Police Bodyguards a Secret." Then, just minutes after the story broke, his PR machine tried to put a positive spin on the dispute. Now, members of the squad, let me pause there for just quite a while. The Daily Mail does PR for members of the royal family, for Prince William, Kate Middleton, and mostly its favorite practice is to trash Harry and Meghan to do PR or uplift the Cambridges or write positive press for the Cambridges. And the Daily Mail is full of so much hypocrisy. I don't think, they can stand and say that they're not hypocritical, because the Daily Fail is so much full of hypocrisy. So full of hypocrisy. And I sincerely hope that Prince Harry wins this court case against the Daily Fail. Now allow me to continue. At a preliminary hearing in London, Mr. Justice Nicklin will be asked to determine the natural and ordinary meaning of the parts of the article in the claim. The judge will also consider whether they are a statement of fact or opinion and whether they are defamatory in his decision, which is likely to be given in writing at a later date. And Prince Harry, we are sending you positive vibes and sincerely hoping that you win once again against this racist and bigoted tabloid called the Daily Fail. Now, members of the squad, what I see right now is collusion, because the Daily Mail, it does PR for the Cambridges. It normally does that. And normally it trashes, Harry and Meghan time and time again to do positive PR, positive press to the Cambridges. And that just makes me sick. It just makes me sick. And it just highlights the hypocrisy of the Daily Fail itself in saying these words that Harry, his PR machine tried to put a positive spin on the dispute. It just highlights the hypocrisy of the Daily Fail. And also that those words from the Daily Fail smacks of bitterness. Bitterness because they have zero access to Prince Harry and Meghan. They have zero access to Prince Harry and Meghan. Why do you think normally, right now, what they're doing is trashing, the fact that Harry and Meghan are working with Netflix to produce content? The Daily Mail itself, every single time and time again, they have a contract with the royal family. They write stories and articles about the royal family, and in exchange, they make money from writing about the royal family. The bitterness you see now is the fact that Harry and Meghan, they left the UK. And even, I remember that article, I don't know if it was by the New York Times, they say Harry and Meghan are leaving the UK. And with that, billions of dollars go with them in brand deals or brand sales. I think, the article read something like that. So the bitterness for the Daily Fail is that it lost revenue when Harry and Meghan left the UK. And right now, they are trying to punish Prince Harry and Meghan, with this constant negativity. They were doing it either way, whether or not Harry and Meghan were in the UK or not, when they were still senior members of the royal family. They were still, smearing Prince Harry and Meghan. And right now, what you're seeing them continue to do it is a form of bitterness. The Daily Fail is bitter bitter because Prince Harry and Meghan no longer want to engage with them nor work with them at all. They don't want one bit to work with the Daily Fail, or even they have said completely and they have a zero engagement policy with the Daily Fail and the rest of the UK tabloids. Its friends or allies, the allies of the Daily Fail, the rest of the UK tabloids, the Sun and the others. Harry and Meghan have said, no, we're not working with you. And because of that, they're so bitter because in the future, the Daily Fail will never change its practices. And they themselves, they know they will never ever change their practices. As a matter of fact, any single person who attempts to change the media landscape in the UK that prioritizes, profit and causes so much pain and dehumanizes people, especially women in the UK, by spreading misogynistic attacks towards women, that tabloid, any single person who stands against their practices is normally targeted by the Daily Fail. Every single one of them, every single person who dares to challenge UK tabloids, the tabloids go after them. And right now, Harry and Meghan want nothing to do with them. And even that, they are so bitter about. The Daily Fail is so bitter because they lost their access. Lost access to Prince Harry and Meghan. They lost revenue when Harry and Meghan left because they thought that even if they smeared Prince Harry and Meghan, they would never ever be able to pack up and leave and say enough is enough. They never thought that would ever happen. They believed that them going after Meghan would lead Prince Harry to abandoning his wife, divorcing his wife, or cheating on his wife. That never happened. What did happen? Harry and Meghan had enough of the bullying and the abuse, and they stood up to the Daily Fail. Meghan sued the Daily Fail, and she won in court millions in compensation for breach of her copyright. And now, the Daily Fail did the exact same thing, once again, smearing Prince Harry and Meghan with this, apparently, they call it an exclusive, how Prince Harry tried to keep his legal fight with the government over police bodyguards a secret. Then, just minutes as the story broke, his PR machine tried to put a positive spin on the dispute. Now, the Daily Fail, I hope it loses this case. Because when it comes to the record of Prince Harry and Meghan against these tabloids in court, one thing is for sure, Prince Harry and Meghan always win. Meghan won her court case against the Daily Fail. It's about standing, for what's right and against wrong and the illegal practices of the Daily Fail. And they need to be held accountable for their actions. Now, as I continue, in Prince Harry's written claim filed with the court, Harry said the reporting allegedly caused him substantial hurt, embarrassment, and distress, which is continuing. And without a shadow of a doubt, I've always said this, that, the Daily Fail, is a threat, a huge threat to any single person that it goes after. Think about Caroline Flack, for instance, whom, the Sun tabloid went after. She took her own life. Look at Princess Diana, whom the tabloids went after. They chased her to her death. So one cannot disregard, how dangerous it is, how the UK tabloids are dangerous, because indeed they are very, very dangerous. You can't underestimate the danger that they pose to Harry and Meghan. Because unfortunately, all this negative press, all these smears that they write targeting Prince Harry and Meghan, unfortunately, there is one sick person who believes in all those lies that they're being fed by the Daily Fail. Unfortunately, there's always that person, and that person will pose a huge threat to Prince Harry and Meghan. And that's why one cannot underestimate or disregard the negative press that the Daily Fail has been waging, the hate for profit campaign targeting Prince Harry and Meghan for quite a long time, and the rest of the tabloids. You just can't disregard it. Now, as I continue, the Duke's legal team has argued that the natural and ordinary meaning of the Mail on Sunday's reporting includes that he lied about always being willing to pay for police protection in the UK and had improperly and cynically tried to manipulate and confuse public opinion by authorizing his spin doctors to put out false and misleading statements. Think about this for a second. The Daily Mail has been cited by Wikipedia itself as being an unreliable source. In some websites, there is a disclaimer, practically a disclaimer, about the Daily Fail articles. The Daily Fail is constantly embroiled in legal cases. It spends its days in court. Actually, Brian Cathart talked about this, someone who writes for Violent Times, talked about this and said that the Daily Fail spends its time in court. It feels at home there. Think about that for a second. The Daily Fail spends its time in court. It feels at home at the courts. What they do and what I've observed with the Daily Fail is that normally they print a lie. And when, let's say, a celebrity calls out their lies, for instance, I remember Dak Shepard. He called them, he was upset because, a picture of his kid was printed in an article by the Daily Fail. He was upset. So he wanted, he called in his lawyers, and the Daily Fail issued an apology and paid the legal fees for the, towards Dak Shepard. Someone who had a podcast with Prince Harry, they remember the Dak Shepard and Prince Harry interview. I remember that very clearly. I hope you remember that as well. Yes, that Dak Shepard. And I remember that time, I remember that moment when the Daily Fail said, apologized and then paid the legal fees. The reason that they do that, in my opinion, what I've observed, is that normally they do that. They know that they're in the wrong. They don't want to go to court. Sometimes they don't want to go to court. Sometimes they do want to go to court because they want more stories. Like in the case, Meghan against the Daily Fail. They wanted Meghan in court because they wanted that, public spectacle of Meghan in court, a woman that they've waged a smear campaign against for years in a courtroom against them, and also, members of the royal family. That's what the Daily Fail so desperately wanted, because they wanted more stories, more and more stories. And when they didn't get that court case that they wanted, they lost their mind. They were pissed. They were so pissed about it. And I'm glad that Meghan won that case. Now, as I continue, what I've observed, as I've said, the Daily Fail, what it does is that whenever it commits an illegality, something which they know inside of them is wrong, which is something normal to them, when they do something illegal, what they do is that they offer to pay you your legal fees, because the money that they have made from their illegality, their illegal actions, let's say, for instance, printing Dak Shepard's child, picture or image or photo of his child on their articles, which they know is wrong and is forbidden by law, and I know California state laws. They know it's wrong, but what do? They profited from that illegality more than any amount of money that they could pay for legal fees. That's what the Daily Fail does. Anything to make an extra dollar. And anything, they will do anything and everything to make an extra dollar. Now, allow me to continue with this court case. And I sincerely hope that Prince Harry wins this case. I sincerely hope. Now, Harry is bringing his separate claim against the Home Office after being told he will no longer be given the same degree of personal protective security when visiting from the US, despite offering to pay for it himself. He is arguing that his private protection team in the US does not have adequate jurisdiction abroad or access to UK intelligence information, which is needed to keep his family safe. Now, however, Robert Palmer, Queen's Chancellor for the Home Office, previously told the court the Duke's offer of private funding was irrelevant and that personal protective security by the police is not available on a privately financed basis. Now, the preliminary hearing in the libel claim will be held at the Royal Courts of Justice from 10:30 a.m. on Thursday. So please, I'm begging you, members of the squad, please pray for Prince Harry in this court case. Pray for him to win this court case. Please, I'm begging you, pray for Prince Harry to win this court case against the Daily Fail. Send him positive vibes, put him on your prayers. Please just pray for him to win. The Daily Fail gets away with a lot of things, a lot of things, a lot of things, a lot of things. And I sincerely hope that one day the likes of this Rothmere, who owns the Daily Fail, or Rupert Murdoch, who owns the Sun tabloid and Fox propaganda, I sincerely hope that one day they are held accountable for their misinformation, their lies, the hate for profit business model that they have, that they continue to spread. I sincerely hope that that day comes. Now, members of the squad, what do you think about this court case? I want to hear your opinion, and please pray for Prince Harry. I'll be giving you more updates as soon as I receive them. As I've said, the preliminary hearing in the libel claim will be held at the Royal Courts of Justice from 10:30 a.m. on Thursday. I will be updating you as soon as I receive any form of information. With that and so much more, members of the squad, I just wanted to say this before I end this podcast, is that what I've always said, the reason you would ever deny someone of the ability to pay for protection, someone who is openly willing to fund his protection and the protection of his own family, his wife and children, is because you would want to see him harmed. And that's why the danger posed by the UK tabloids and even the firm cannot and never be disregarded. You can't discount these constant threats, these constant smears, these constant lies perpetuated by the UK tabloids against Prince Harry and Meghan. You cannot disregard that. Give me your thoughts. With that and so much more, stay tuned to our next video. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for daily and consistent content. Keyword daily and consistent. And stay tuned to our next video. Love you, family, always and forever. Hello, members of Zesco Family TV. First of all, I want to say thank you for all your support that you give us to our channel. We don't take it for granted that you support this channel. I want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts for lending out your support and fighting against injustices, supporting Prince Harry and Meghan, showing them love. Love will always triumph over evil, and for that I say thank you. Good will always prevail over bad. Thank you so much for all your support. Thank you so much for joining this community, this amazing community of Zesco Family TV. I love you so much, family, from the bottom of my heart, and I wish you all the best. May you have a great day, and I hope that you enjoyed this video and learned a lot of things. With that and so much more, stay tuned to our next video. Leave a comment below, like and subscribe. Love you, family, always and forever. Sayonara.